Okay, we're on.
So scary.
We're live. We're not live, but
We're not
we're
live, but
recording.
we're alive.
We're alive and not well. Not mentally well.
Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm. Live, laugh, love,
Yeah.
though, at the end of the day. Anyway.
Honestly, unironically, when we're older, we should just get like a live, laugh, love sign for somewhere in the house.
Yes.
Just one. Don't know where. In a bathroom, like above the toilet.
Yes.
On the
Live, laugh, love,
mantelpiece.
and also shit.
Live, laugh, love, and breathe through it.
Live, laugh, love, and hold on to the toilet seat for dear life.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well,
We should really go into marketing for them.
we should. We should create like signs for Hobby Lobby.
Mm-hmm.
Like pray
Ooh,
and also shit yourself.
I forgot about Hobby Lobby. That brought so many and like the distinct like hobby wood smell, like you know, like the
Yes.
really thin plywood that they use for like
Yeah.
the little like Christmas like
The fake little
glued
houses.
together. Mhm.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And like the smell of dowel pins.
Yes. The smell
That
of
is
dowel
everywhere in
pins.
Hobby Lobby.
That is Hobby Lobby.
Yep.
And then every corner you turn, there's a cheesy sign. Every corner you
Oh.
turn. No
Oh,
shame,
yeah.
Hobby Lobby. But like
No,
that is
no
what Hobby
shame.
Lobby is.
Yeah, it is, and it's definitely like but especially during holidays, a lot of the fake glitter.
Oh, it's everywhere. If you walk into that establishment, you are now covered in glitter and you will not get it off of you for the next 4
No.
months.
No,
If you're
but
lucky.
I will say they have some of the coolest snow globes
True.
every year.
Yeah.
Every year, without fail. There was this one snow globe had like a little Santa at the top and like a little
Yeah.
snowman. It was like a three-story one, and then it had a little train that moved through the tunnel consistently. That shit kept me so entertained.
Period. I love when people have
So
intricate like
entertained.
Christmas shit, like a train, like a Christmas, like
Oh yeah.
the Polar Express. They have that going through
Yes.
like their entire Christmas tree.
Yes.
I'm like, that is so amazing. Like, good for them.
Mhm.
Like, it makes
And
me
they always have
so happy.
They always have the best sour candies at the checkout.
They do. They have like so many candies at the checkout of Hobby Lobby.
Mhm.
So many candies.
I know Hobby Lobby. I forgot about it, but I wish I didn't forget. I love
Yeah.
Hobby Lobby.
Yeah,
I love Hobby Lobby.
we do. We love Hobby Lobby. But anyways, welcome to
Anyways.
She Knows It. Welcome to She Knows It with
Alex.
and Izzie, where we talk about everything because we know it.
Yeah, exactly.
know
I mean,
everything.
if we don't, we can fill in the blanks.
Honestly, like, we're really good at that. Today, do you want to introduce our little topic?
Okay, so today it is a very near and dear topic to us. We are going to be talking about Wattpad and our history with it. And in
Quite
it,
literally,
I guess.
Yeah, literally and
Yeah.
figuratively. We're talking about our Wattpad history today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what Wattpad is, if you were one of the fortunate,
The blessed among us.
Wattpad is how would you say it? It's mainly a lot of, it started out very fan fiction.
Yes. It's
But then it
primarily
kinda-
fan fiction.
Yeah, but then it changed and morphed into original stories.
I think that was when the
guess.
era of Wattpad creating movies happened. They that's when
Okay.
everyone was like, oh wait, fan fiction can be like, also like 50 Shades of Grey was originally a fan fiction. It's like when all these movies that were originally fan fictions ended up becoming like these blockbuster films. I think that's when Wattpad writers took the shift to make it also original stories, which like, okay, period. Like, get that
Yeah.
original movie deal. Get that Universal
Wasn't-
movie deal.
That movie, well, you know what movie I'm talking about after?
Yes, there's like 4 of
After.
them.
Wasn't that a Wattpad original?
Yeah, and
Book,
like it has like a
wasn't
Wattpad. Yeah, it has like a Wattpad logo.
Yeah.
Like Wattpad helped produce it.
Oh wow, okay, I didn't know
Yeah,
that. I just knew
I'm pretty
After
sure.
was a like Wattpad story that like went
Yeah.
over
It was a Wattpad
into
story.
like Netflix. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I think they produced it. I mean, like, their logo's on it, and like I think they're credited as like one of the people who helped create it, which that could just be because they like facilitated the website, but I don't think it would have been that heavily of like a thing if they didn't help in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, so we were Wattpad kids. We read a lot of Wattpad
kids. Yeah, that whole realm, it was Wattpad, Tumblr, and AO3. That was but mainly majority when we were younger, Wattpad.
Yes, primarily Wattpad.
Yeah, it has a lot of different genres, and to preface all of this, we love Wattpad.
Yeah,
we love it.
We love her.
It's a great place, great book site.
Great book.
If you wanna.
It's the entirety of a book.
It's the entirety of a book. But there are about 2 genres that are the primary draw to the website.
Yeah.
Okay.
How old were you when you found Wattpad? I'm curious.
Ooh. I was 11, barely though.
I think I was about the same age. I think I was about 11, which makes sense. That checks out for us.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, because at 10, I'm gonna say it, what segued me into Wattpad was Otome games.
Same. Mystic Messenger. Okay. Kind of vibes.
Okay, no, for me it was something vampire.
Oh,
of course.
You liked a lot of reverse harems as well.
Yeah, it was. It was a reverse harem Otome game. It was on the App Store. I don't remember what it was. At all. No, that was what segued me into Wattpad. Was that because it's kind of like it's a visual novel, right?
Yeah.
So that got me into it, and then Wattpad was 2 years after that, because I found Otome games pretty young.
Yeah, so I think it was about the same for me. I think I had less of an Otome game phase though than you did. I like scratched the surface and then I dove into Wattpad. That's kind of more so my story with it. I think I was also around 11, but like I got really into it at like 12, 13. Like that was like prime Wattpad days for me. Which is right when we became friends. So that makes a lot of sense as well.
Same. No, I remember I had, before I got a phone, I had a like reading tablet that I could download Wattpad on because it was like a reading app, I guess.
Like a kind of Kindle kind of thing?
Kind of, but it was like a really cheap iPad from like Walmart.
Okay.
But it wasn't an iPad, it was just like
Walmart
a tablet.
Brand tablet.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And
so it would always get so hot on the back. And and I would literally sit in bed and read on this, like Wattpad, for hours on end.
Yeah.
Hours. 10 hours. Easy. That children's play. 10 hours of just reading. I would finish multi-chaptered books in a day.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I wouldn't read a single thing for school. I would spark notes everything.
I love reading, just not academically. Until like when I grew up. But like when I was a kid, oh no. You want me to read two pages.
The books by my bed. Dungeons and Drama. It's just a fluffy little rom-com.
Yeah.
A Court of Mist and Fury. That says enough in itself.
Yep.
And then The Night and Its Moon, which is a like bisexual fantasy adult novel. Yeah. I think that reflects well on the fact that
I'm just going to say
that.
The elephant in the room. My first ever book, straight smut.
Oh, same.
Straight smut.
Oh, Wattpad really like it like showed you everything at that time period. Now they have warnings. Have you seen that? They have warnings.
They have warnings, and now they actually have mature. Like, this book contains mature content. Yeah. When we got on it, free reign, Wild West.
Yeah. If it didn't exist, we didn't see it.
it was like now, okay, I think they might have had warnings back then, but nowadays it's a lot more apparent.
Like, it literally
the
is like a
warnings.
banner pops up on your screen. It's like, warning, this is like a like mature topic that you're looking up. It's for 18 plus, you know, like they'll like very clearly say that now. Where back then it was like, what does this button do? And then we just like click things and like read them.
Yeah, no, and then it's like, you know, you would type up, what was my search when I was probably first getting into Wattpad when I was like 11 was like bad boy.
Oh, girl. Yeah. Enemies to lovers, bad boy.
Exactly. Yeah, or like vampires, which opens up another whole thing. Because what they would do is when you typed in bad boy, they wouldn't really like, they would give you the top red one, which was always smut. Always hard smut.
Always. I think that's why we accidentally read it for our first time.
Yeah, because I mean, it had high reads, and so obviously it's just like clicking on a video that has more views. You're like, oh, then people must really like it. That means I must really like it. And then you would see the content that the author could sometimes list, like all the different kinks and all the different relationships, and as a kid you'd be like, what's that? Click on it, see another book, be like, oh, that's a cool looking cover, click on it, read it. Cycles.
And that is why we are who we are today.
That was a pivotal moment in our development, I think,
event
as people.
100%. What were some of your favorite genres, like when you were younger and you'd be on Wattpad? Do you want me to start or do you want to start?
I think you should start.
Okay. So I don't have my original Wattpad account, so I cannot like fact check this and like go back in. So I'm working purely off of memory. So like I might be missing things, but I'm going to try to remember the ones that like, and maybe something will jog my memory like while we're talking about this and I'll remember more later. But the main ones that come into my head that I know I like definitely read a lot. Obviously there's like genres, or like the traditional genres, and then there's like Wattpad genres. Wattpad genres I feel like are way more specific and way more
for sure
graphic with their titling. So if we're using like regular like genre styles, I read a lot of fan fiction that was romance, adult romance, and included quite a few different kinks, and I didn't know much about it going in. So I read a wide range at first. I read a wide range at first. I kind of figured out that I was into girls around that time as well. And so that also influenced my search history quite a bit. I remember reading Pretty Little Liars fan fiction a lot, specifically spoilers for Pretty Little Liars for anyone who hasn't watched Pretty Little Liars. Emily and Allison. I read Emily and Allison fan fiction. I also read Ezra and Arya fan fiction, which like for the time makes a lot of sense. Now we could do into a whole topic about how Pretty Little Liars groomed us as children, because there's so many inappropriate relationships in that show. But that's a story for another day. Truly.
No, student teacher.
Student teacher.
Biggest one.
Yeah.
Biggest one. Biggest one. But also that was very common in media that we consumed at that age.
Oh, 100%. It like
not
wasn't
just Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah, it wasn't just Pretty Little Liars. It was like everything.
It was an overarching thing.
Yeah.
In a lot of different shows and like stories, music even.
Yep. So that's kind of the main things I read. I mean, I can be more specific with the genres if we're going into like Wattpad genreing. I don't know if that's
mine, I didn't really go into fan fiction. I went straight into original stories, which in my opinion are always worse.
Yes.
Like, not worse as like, oh, they're bad stories. They were amazing stories. Very well written. But just worse as in what they included.
because it's not a real person.
Yeah,
They
that
can
I
be
consumed
as
at that age.
graphic as possible. I dabbled into the original stories probably around more the like the 13-year-old age range.
Okay.
But like the first 2 years, it was mainly fictional characters. Another fictional character that I was obsessed with was teenage Sam Drake from Uncharted 4. It's so specific. It is beyond specific. It is so like weirdly like, oh, it's specifically teenage Sam Drake. Now him grown up as well, as he's a very, very good looking man, but he's also like 40. So I really liked teenage Sam Drake.
Yeah.
He was a bad boy with a heart of gold. If you don't know who that is, like, by the way, it's a video game
11
character.
Yeah, plus like 11-year-olds. You have to also put into perspective that is the time of immense change. And when we saw something, we ran with it.
We did.
So for me, the books I dived into was a lot of fantasy genres.
Period.
Specifically, vampires.
You've always been a vampire girly.
always been. If you were ever wondering about me, I was always a Edward.
And now you're a Starman
I was
girly.
always an Edward. Always have been. Probably always will. But there was what was it? This one book I remember. I was like 12. And it's like a 4-book, each like 100 and something chapters. Like I was invested in this.
The chapters on Wattpad are crazy.
Yeah, no, and then like the authors would have like the little footnotes of, sorry guys, I just got kicked out of my house and like I lost internet access.
Sorry, I'm in the hospital with a broken arm.
No. And I'm just like, oh wow. And then they're just like, anyways, enjoy the chapter.
Yeah. It's wild.
It was
like, sorry this took a while. My dog died and then I went to prison. So now that finally the chapter's out.
And I know that was a running joke so much on like other fan fiction sites or like other story sites. It was a running joke. But to be honest, Wattpad writers always had the most entertaining little excerpts.
They really did.
Always.
Reality TV
always.
show.
I would always read them. I don't know about you. I would always read them.
I always read the author notes.
Yeah. But there was this one fantasy, and it was he was a what was it? Magic suit of armor was the main love interest, but then he became a corporeal man. But he was like a ghost, but like a tangible ghost. Girl, it was a wild trip at like 12 years old. Anyways,
yeah,
there was that, and then but mainly it was vampires. So if you know anything about vampire stories, they include a lot of really hard kinks. Very hard kinks. And I didn't know that because, again, I didn't have a basis to judge what was a super graphic thing versus just like something that was normal in the fear of things. So the fact that was what I first got introduced to, that really set up the foundation for how I viewed everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I would say vampires, a lot of fantasy for me, and then a lot of bad boys, or like actual bad boys, not just the aesthetic, like the actual bad boys, criminals.
Oh my god, criminals. That okay.
So the mafia
going into original stories, mafia, criminals. That was okay. That was definitely
my thing was. Oh my god, is that Raven?
Yes. For people who are just listening, the reason why we went silent for a second is because my cat Raven is messing with the blinds behind us. So I'm just going to go grab her. You keep talking.
Okay, I'll keep you entertained. Don't worry. So, I was very into criminals. Criminals was my poison of choice at that age. But what really was my thing was this one story. He was an accused unaliver of somebody,
Oh my god.
but he wasn't guilty. Okay.
Well, at least he's not
Who-
guilty.
In the story, but it was like the whole like bad boy, and what did he do? He was like,
No wonder we were fixing, like we were like fixer girls.
we were
No
fixers.
wonder.
We were fixers.
No wonder
Big
we were
time,
like,
big time,
I
big
can
time.
fix him. This isn't like
Don't do that. If you have that mindset, get out of it. Do
Get
not
out of
fix
it. Literally,
anybody.
wake up. Wake up.
Don't fix anybody.
Wake
Do
up.
not do it. Wake up from that nightmare, please.
Yes.
It is very nice in the living world. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
I promise. Don't
It
fix
really
anybody.
is.
But back to it.
Yeah.
That story I loved. It was like she was the lawyer and he was the obviously
Ooh.
defendant. It was a good story. I enjoyed it. At least from what I remember. I was like
Yeah.
14, something like that. 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, the mafia stories.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I'm 2 feet tall and you're 18 feet tall. Wow.
Oh my god, I'm literally like petite and small, and I'm a girl, and I'm a damsel
No, and
in
they always had bright blue eyes or green eyes with like white hair.
Yeah.
And they're like
or black hair. Or
Yeah.
it's either black hair or white hair.
what? Yeah. Yeah,
No
and then
between.
they're always like porcelain skin
Mhm.
and always below the tallest I think I've ever read one was like 5'3".
I know. It's
Max.
like every
But then the guy's
yeah.
always like 6'8".
Seriously. I know what that spawned in us as well.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
do you
That
mean?
was normal.
What do you mean? That's the
That's
normal height
normal.
difference. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Not everyone in the world is pretty much probably another person apart from each other.
Literally, there were some of these where it's like literally double the height of the girl is the guy's height.
It could be
Which
two
is
of the
actually-
girls.
Yeah.
It could put 2 of the girls on top of each other. It'll be his height.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Lord.
Lordy.
It was as we said, Wattpad was a wild ride,
It really was.
and I don't know because I've never met somebody that's avoided Wattpad altogether.
Yeah, I've never met someone who does not know what Wattpad is in the slightest.
Yeah, and like know what Wattpad is and like what
Yeah.
Wattpad
What
facilitates.
lies within Wattpad's
Mhm.
gates. It's
Yeah.
pearly gates to the
Yep.
heaven themed hellscape that it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, you know, let's see if I have my account.
Oh my god, yes.
So I can show the most
I wish I still had my
Viewed
original account.
book. Oh, it's opening. Okay.
Per-
Also, shout to I'm not going to say the authors, but I'm just going to say the book titles.
yeah.
One of the ones I did read a lot
hmm
when I was younger, I remember. What was it? Ooh, did she retitle it? Yeah. Okay. Striptease.
I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah. So that was don't ask me. I don't know why. Really was pivotal for me with that. It was a sensual club.
Mm.
Mm.
Mhm.
Read between the lines with that one.
Yeah.
And so it was a kink sensual club. So they had everything in that book. The whole list in that book consumed by a 13-year-old.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
This reminds me of we won't say names, we won't say anything.
No.
But remember when we were inspired around the age of like 14, 13, something like that, to write a Wattpad book together based on real text role plays we were a part of.
Yes.
We were a part of a text role play group with like 2 other people. Small, intimate group. Intimate's one way to put it.
It's definitely one describing word I would use, but not willingly volunteer.
Yeah. But yeah, it was honestly like kind of iconic though.
It was a lot.
It would have done amazing on Wattpad though.
Oh, for sure.
We would have gotten a movie deal. If you
That-
guys
okay,
really
it would
want
make
to
a
hear
great
about
movie.
it, like
maybe
we can have an episode about it. But
we might do a small little segment, maybe in like maybe embarrassing childhood stories.
that would be a good one for that. That would be a really good
we
one
might
for that.
slot it into that
Yeah.
if there's an interest in it.
Yeah.
But it would have gotten a movie, and I think it would rival the likes of 50 Shades and 365.
Truly.
It would rival it. I think it really, because it has all the elements and more of both of those.
And it has a great basis for like the main characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's graphic.
Oh,
at least.
Way too explicit for us at that age. But as an adult, it would have been really interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Or read, even.
Yeah. Truly. I feel like we could also, because I feel like at that age we were less articulate with our words as we are now.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, that's
Our times.
that's the main parts of the genres, the types of books we read, and we kind of started dabbling into some of the dirty details of what we read. My past with Wattpad is a little traumatic with how dirty the details are sometimes. It ranges. You know?
It does. For me, I digested it well.
Okay.
For me.
But
I will say, it wasn't until I was an adult that I actually realized a lot of the expectations Wattpad set up.
Oh, 100%.
Were
not it.
Very, very, very false. But they presented it in a way that if you didn't have prior experience with it, which obviously we didn't because we were young.
Yeah, because it was unexperienced people writing books for unexperienced people. That's what it was.
But it was presented in a way that appealed to someone who didn't know, and so you would take that, and especially because it was a lot of overarching ideas from different authors and different books, and I guess portrayed in different ways, but all kind of kept the same, that became a standard in my head.
Yes. Like it was like, oh, this is the plot points that happen. This is the type of romantic relationship, which it really was bad, especially because we were into like the criminal mafia bad boy energy at one point, which is just toxic. It's very toxic, especially how it's written. It's dark romance.
It's great,
not meant to
great
be
in a book.
Yeah.
Great in a book, not in practice.
Yeah, exactly. It's not meant to be a outline for what you should do in real life. It's meant to be a story, a fictional story that you read, enjoy, and then live your real life, you know? Get your fill through reading it type of story. But that wasn't what it was for us, since it was such a pivotal time period of our lives. I think definitely the false expectations is a very good point. Because I feel like not even just false expectations when it comes to like sensual things, intimate things.
Just behavior.
And
Just behavior in
how
general.
things work out in real life and things along those lines, that you just kind of have to like learn the hard way that they aren't like that if you have that preconceived notion that they are.
Yeah.
And those who are Wattpad people, Wattpad girlies, Wattpad individuals alike, you kind of understand where we're coming from with this. For those who don't really know the context and they're like, why are they like beating around the bush so much with like the specifics of like what expectations were set? It's because there's so many. It would be like multiple hours long. It was explaining every single thing that they said falsely.
Everything about it was just false expectations of people in general. Is what that, especially in relationships, was a lot of the content that we consumed. But it would range from sensual to even just small actions someone would do that set a false expectation in our heads. And so when we grew up and we started developing relations with people, if they didn't do that false expectation, we would think, oh, okay, that person doesn't care for me enough, or we don't like that because they're not doing that.
Yeah. And for me specifically, you can tell me if you feel the same way, it also set up the expectation that there needs to be drama and there needs to be like things happening for like to be interesting.
For me, it's like if a guy wasn't jealous over me, then he
that
didn't like me.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the biggest things I had to understand and get over.
Yeah. Same.
Was because like if he is not jealous of me just like simply having a male friend.
Yeah, which you don't want that.
Like,
in practice, you don't want that either.
In practice, it should be conversation. Obviously, if something does rub your partner the wrong way, you should obviously be like, okay, talk about it.
Yeah.
But you should be okay with just having friends, regardless of gender.
Yeah.
Now, if obviously in different cases, if they do overstep a boundary,
that's
then,
different. You talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just the idea of a male friend was like, oh, he should get just jealous of that.
Yeah, he should get jealous. He should get protective. Also, the romanticization of like, I don't know if you witnessed this, but I definitely witnessed this a lot.
Okay.
On like Wattpad stories and stuff. The romanticization of like little miniature trigger warning. I'm not going to be saying anything explicit, but like for those who are sensitive to topics, just a fair warning, just in case. I'll make it quick. Like getting SA'd and then your significant other helping you after that type of situation, or like beating the shit out of the person that did it to you. Yeah. Like to the point where like this person would go to jail in real life. Violent tendencies. Yeah. Like
violent tendencies were a very common plot point. In a lot of the media we consume. Obviously, as we said, criminals was a big thing. So obviously it was something like that. But it was very much so. We can blur this out and beat this out. But it was sex as therapy. Was an overarching thing in those books, especially in those topics, was a person can be your therapy rather than actually getting the help you actually need.
Which goes even more into the fixing mentality, that I can fix him. I can be his savior. Exactly. I can be his person. Yeah. It's like, it's good to have a person that you can talk with freely.
Oh, of course.
That's very important in a relationship. But there's a difference between being the person that they know that, you know, you'll be in their corner or that they'll be in your corner, and that they'll help you through hard times. But there's a difference between that and then them being the only reason you get through it. Them being the literal reason you survive. And that can be really like, that can become a little dangerously codependent at a certain point. And I think that's something that was very romanticized in Wattpad fan fiction, which like understandably so, because it made for
100%.
some great books. It made for some
It is a
fantastic books.
Great read.
Yes.
But you have to be able to take it for what it is as a book.
Yeah.
And not use that as a basis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as we said, we were children, so we did use that as a basis.
Yeah. 100%.
So no, I definitely saw that in a lot of the content.
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely did.
Which I feel like it just took us a little bit of time to get through like the expectations and faced with the realities of what a good relationship looks like and everything. And building that trust and understanding with your partner of having those boundaries of like being able to be there for them, but not fixing every single problem the moment it is approached by your significant other. Because I think that is important to remember, that like that person's not your therapist. That person is someone that's there for you, and someone that can help you through a hard time and hold you while you cry, but they're not going to be listening to you cry and complain about everything every single day, because if you do that, then you're going to become dependent on that person, and vice versa if you were doing it for them. And like if someone's having a rough patch, that's different, like depressive episodes.
It's a different situation.
Yeah. It's all
Very
about
situation.
How do you come out of that and feel, both of you as individuals.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So yeah, there's a little advice, there's a little tidbit.
Yeah,
take it or leave it.
A little something,
you know.
We're gonna give you our experience, and if that doesn't resonate with you,
you can leave it. You can leave it if it doesn't resonate with you, but that's what we saw. Let us know though, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, comment down below, or you can go over to our Instagram and talk with us there, or our TikTok. Everything's everywhere's the same and it's all linked on our link tree, so like find it really easily. Because this is something that like I know so many Wattpad girlies that grew up and had very similar experiences, and so I love listening to people talk about this kind of stuff.
If you have any prior experience, or like maybe a different take on something we've said, that's something you saw, or maybe you were reading Wattpad and saw another overarching story plot line that you think is a bad basis, let us know. Because I don't know, like people talk about Wattpad, but I don't think they talk about the nitty gritty. They just kind of talk about it as like a
Wattpad, remember that?
I used to read it. Okay. It wasn't actually how did it affect you?
Yeah. Because it did affect us, definitely.
Yeah. Like your mindset, definitely. Definitely, it's the mindset mentalities.
I think it also affected me in good ways as well. Like, I'm not saying like Wattpad is evil inherently. Like, I had a great time browsing Wattpad when I was. It taught me a lot of things about who I was. Like, as I said, like I kind of realized, I might be into girls through reading stories on Wattpad, as well as, like having those stories teach me about different things when it comes to intimate relationships, not necessarily them being factual things about how intimate relationships should be, as we've already established, but like specifics on like learning about different kinks, like that I would not have learned about. I didn't necessarily need to be learning those at that age, but I'm glad I know what they are now. Like I'm glad I kind of know that broader scale and range of, intimacy between other people and stuff. And when I'm into stuff like that, I learned a lot about that through Wattpad. So I mean,
for sure,
definitely pros and cons to Wattpad for sure. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we wrap up the episode? About your experience with Wattpad?
I would just say, as you said too, Wattpad's not inherently evil, but I think definitely if you are going to experiment, especially with a lot of dark romances, be very cautious, because when you mix intense sensual emotions with hard emotions or hard topics that they tend to do in a lot of dark romances, which is one of the most popular genres on Wattpad, it has been for a while. Just be very careful with how you're digesting it, I would say. They're great reads.
Yeah.
I still sometimes occasionally on a long plane flight might read a Wattpad book.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? So yeah, I would just basically say that. I personally, same experience with you, should not have learned what I learned at that age, but now that I'm older, it's fun knowledge.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm glad that Wattpad has been implementing the more warnings, because like I think that is
for
important.
sure.
Also the mature ratings,
the maturity warning,
yeah,
I love that.
that makes a lot of sense.
And then and then also the authors are being a lot more explicit with their taggings.
Yes.
So they're really letting people know what's going to be included in the book.
I feel like it back in the day that we were reading on Wattpad the most. I feel like it also was kind of like a secret, you know, like it's like
it's
like
so taboo.
Like, no one knows that we're this dirty on here, like
yeah,
like it was completely like they wouldn't want to tag it transparently because they'd want people to just click on it and then see that it's sexual, and then it's their little secret, so that way if anyone learns that they're reading it, they're like they don't have any clue what it is still. Which I think that was also a part of the like fun of being on Wattpad, is it felt like you were doing something bad, but it really wasn't something bad. Like it wasn't inherently bad, you know.
Oh no.
And so it was just like, oh yeah, no one knows that I'm reading this literal erotica, like literal erotic fiction. And here I am though, on my little phone in a Target, walking through Target with my fucking family. It's just
just scrolling through.
Literally, I read smut in so many places growing up.
Oh yeah, no, my favorite place was the waiting room before class. Just have my back up against a wall, phone in hand. I was set. I could wait for 45 minutes to an hour.
Study hall.
Before I start looking up.
I'm reading Wattpad, actually. Fun fact.
Exactly.
Yeah. 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 So let us know what you guys think about Wattpad, if you had any history with Wattpad growing up. And if so, was it positive or was it negative? Like, what did you guys get from it? Did it leave you with any trauma? Did it leave you with any kinks that lingered? Because for us...
If you want to share,
if
you want to share,
this
feel
is
free.
A shame-free space. We do not shame here.
110%. Yeah, 110%. Also, what was your guys' favorite genres? If you guys had any, if you guys read it, or were you guys more of a Tumblr or AO3 girly?
Yeah,
because I don't know. Because some people dove right into Tumblr, which Tumblr smut was a whole nother thing.
Tumblr was
another thing.
It was the dark web.
Yeah. Oh, for
like,
sure.
Actually,
for sure.
I loved Tumblr.
It was. Tumblr was. That's a whole nother topic episode. But Tumblr, just as a whole.
Yeah.
Tumblr culture.
It is a culture.
A whole other thing. It's a culture. Still is to this day. People still are Tumblr culture people.
Yeah. And I love the resurgence of 2014 Tumblr girl aesthetic coming back. I love that. That's been coming back. I can't believe that was 10 years ago. But I mean, we were young. We were like 10.
We were babies.
So like it's not like we were old when that was going on. Like my sister was like a teenager when it was happening. So it's like she was like prime Tumblr girl age. But like I was just observing it, and I was like, "That's so cool." So like now that it's back in trend, I'm like, "Okay, now I want to dress like a Tumblr girl," because I never got to really fully dress like a Tumblr girl when I was 10. So Anyways.
But anyways,
yeah.
so yeah, let us know if you guys had an experience that were similar, different, your guys' takes on anything we've said.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
We'll see you guys in the next episode. Make sure to rate us 5 stars, by the way.
Yes.
We appreciate
Thank you.
it. Love you guys. Goodbye.